Good morning, East Jordan. Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. All right, Christina, you're up. Double duty. You want to come introduce our guests? Okay. Better? Sounds like a little bit of echo. Better? Okay.
Good morning, everybody. We have one guest today, and it's our speaker, Melissa Beaverson from Explore York. Welcome. Okay, the number is 0676773.
Deliver. Welcome, or congratulations, Jim. I have her speed dial. All right, today is St. Patrick's Day, so we're going to have some St. Patrick's trivia. So St. Patrick wasn't Irish. He was actually born in Scotland. Now we've got the questions. Where was the first St. Patrick's Day parade held in Ireland in 1903? And I'll give you a hint, think crystal. Crystal glassware. Expensive crystal glassware. Waterford. Yep. According to Irish legend, St. Patrick changed his name after becoming a priest. What was his name at birth? I'm not looking for his last name. His first name, I'll give you a hint. Think Irish pub downtown quite a few years ago. Yep. It was Mewin Sukkot. What changed in the 1970s about how St. Patrick's Day is celebrated? Something that everybody thinks of today with St. Patrick's Day, it just started since the 70s. Actually, it was dry. All the pubs in Ireland up to the 70s previously had been closed for St. Patrick's Day. I thought that was good. Certainly not the way it is today. All right, so I'm going to have, went to the District Learning Assembly on Saturday. It was Chris Izzo, Elizabeth Wolves, Lou Laviton, and myself. And I'd like each of those people to come up and just talk a little bit about what they learned about at the District Learning. So. I'm going to actually, I'd rather see Elizabeth and Lou come up first because then you can go into your second one. Yep, I'm putting you on the spot.
So the District Learning Assembly was awesome. Everybody should have been there. They would have just loved it. It was nice. We had 4 people from our club. That's a good number from any one individual club. And that was what, 10%, because there were 41 people there. But there was a lot of good content, a lot of good sharing. The breakfast was not even as good as this. But I was very delighted that we have a newer member of the club and a first-time attendee in Lou, and I'm interested to see what he has taken away from me.
That's a lot of pressure. I did write notes though, just to make sure. So a couple of things that I did do a walk away. When you start with this, like I did just less than a year ago, I heard the expression up there, like the new guy, you're drinking water from a fire hose, you know, and it's overwhelming. You can't really grasp anything. So it was nice to be able to sit down and get 45 minutes or so with, you know, the foundations, and that even gave me some good insight. And the best part one of the best parts was the membership, in learning how some new ideas and how we can recruit new people. I found that fascinating. And one of the parts that I really didn't like, I had a mentor in my previous business, and he was an avid Rotarian, tried to get me to join Elizabethtown. And I bumped into him, so we had a picture taken, of course, we've been on social media, and we had a, you know, kind of a good reunion. So Rotary does bring people together. It's been 10 years since I saw Glenn, so it was a good experience.
Thank you. All right, Chris. Now, okay, come on.
Yeah, I just echo, this is the first time I've been to one of these sessions in probably 15, 18 years, I think. Being a Rotary almost 30 years, it's kind of neat to get reacquainted with some things. And like I said, a lot of information in a short period of time, but it's a lot of good information to help us run our clubs a lot better. And it's amazing the amount of resources that just Rotary has that we can use not only just here at the club, but also in our personal lives too. It's this well-rounded education. And just, you know, help self-improvement and also improvement for our clubs to be better and do better in the community. So it was an awesome experience.
One of the sessions that Chris did was legal issues with clubs, which he thought was really interesting. He's given me a little bit of homework, which I don't know if I really like that part, but I also took a class on AI in Rotary, and a lot of it could be transferred over into personal things. So I thought it was pretty cool.
Okay, back up here again. I wanted to give an update on where we're at with the grants for the club that the committee met, the board voted for the organizations that we're going to support this year. The first organization is the JCC, and we're going to do kits for the food and security initiative they have, and they're going to receive $2,000. Leg Up Farm is going to receive, does it sound good? Okay. Leg Up will receive $1,500 for a mobile rehab staircase for their center. Then First Church of the Brethren, York First will be receiving $2,500, but they're also going to be our district grants, so they'll receive a total of $5,000 to install shading structures for the school playground. And Life Path was selected, and they're going to be also receiving funds to support household starter kits for people who are homeless. They're going to receive $2,000. And we have a newbie in our classes, one that's been probably the third or fourth time that they've been enlisted. Bobblehead George. They're going to do a production lessons for historic York District Center. And they're going to receive $2,000 for their efforts for their production. So that's just $10,000. So thank you all for your efforts for the fundraising so we can support these amazing organizations. So thank you.
That kind of leads into our golf tournament. On your table, you have the tournament flyers. Please feel free to take those home with you. There's lots of extras up at the introduction table there. That's how we get our funds for the grants and a lot of the other things that our club does. So take a few minutes, take a few home with you, and pass it around. We're starting the sponsorships segment of it. And I also want to point out that the master sponsor is the most expensive one. We decided to differentiate that between the next one down. All four golfers are master sponsors, players. They will receive approximately $25 in the raffle tickets. That will be included. So they'll be included Two mulligans will be included for each player, five 50/50 tickets, and I believe it's five tickets for the pick a prize thing. Yep, raffles. So, Lou?
Okay, we're gonna make this like a pet project of mine. Once the ad comes out, once we start getting on social media, and we ask everybody to share this, try and get some real reach in what's going on for this program.
Sure. Okay. All right. Next, we have just a quick update on club service. I talked to you a little bit last week about the district tree planting. Our district is going to plant a tree in celebration of the 250th anniversary of the country by planting one tree in each of the 72 municipalities in York County. So that tree planting is set for Saturday, August the 11th. We have 7 municipalities to plant a tree. I'm told that the holes are supposed to be dug. I have a meeting tomorrow morning, so it should be a relatively easy task to do. I'm looking for maybe 1 or 2 volunteers that will either help out, maybe 2 together. So if you have a buddy in Rotary that you can work together to plant 1 or 2 trees, that would be great. My buddy is my husband, so he knows it. So anyway, if you can think about that, right now it's set for Saturday, April the 11th. I'm thinking there may be a little bit of flexibility in that date, but I'll find out more about that tomorrow. So if you're interested and are willing to help out, why don't you give Jim Norton email or let him know, and he's collecting names. So he also tells me we have our daily bread this month, and he's telling me he's doing pretty good on volunteers for that. So thank you all. Membership drive, also on your tables is the flyer invitation and the paper list of the spec list. I'd like to take 2 minutes to everybody look over that list and just confirm that your people on there are still viable people. This is also an opportunity to write in anybody's name that you think might be interested. Make sure you put your name down as the Rotary member who's suggesting it. That way, if I have any questions, I'll be able to go back and ask you. One of the things that also came out in the District Learning Associate Assembly on Saturday was to contact not only, people that we know that we think might make good Rotarians, so organizations. So if you belong to an accounting organization or some kind of professional organization, consider sending that email. That flyer did go out last night as an electronic version, but pass it on to some of those organizations and see so we can show what Rotary is and what our club's about. So I appreciate that. So maybe give me a minute. Tim. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. That email that went out last night says there's nothing better than a personal invitation, but we've got to start with the list. So, help her out, please. All right. I think that's it for me. I think I'm ready to call Andy up.
Good morning, everybody. As we continue our women's speaker series this month, I thought we should give a shout out to Mother Nature today, and for all of you people braving the snow again this week. And I guess she's not done with winter yet. But I'm here today to announce Melissa Beaverson. She is the Vice President of Marketing and Communications for Explore York, which is the tourism promotion agency for York County. She leads the marketing team. She has a lot of great marketing team members under her. And, yeah. And she oversees the organization's marketing strategy, branding, and communications. She serves on several boards, including the York Business Improvement District Authority, which is the governing body for downtown Maine, the National Civil War Trails Organization representing Pennsylvania, the Southern Chapter of the Pennsylvania Restaurant and Lodging Association, and the Marketing Committee for the York County History Center. She's originally from Detroit, and she moved to Hershey in 1999 to work for Hershey Entertainment and Resorts. She holds a BA in Communications and Public Relations from Oakland University. She's an avid and really freakishly good golfer, and she enjoys spending her free time on the course and traveling with her husband Chris and their son Zach. So please join me in welcoming Melissa Beaverson. Here's this. Thank you. Good luck.
Okay. I talk with my hands a lot, so I guess, may I flip this? Do you still? This way, can you still hear me? Okay. No, oh, okay, I was like, if I'm attacked and I walk away, someone give me because I'll do that. So thank you, Andrea. I kid with her, but we have an amazing team and we do lots of fun things. So thank you for having me today. I see some friendly faces and I appreciate the warm welcome. I received a tip that I will keep in mind for my presentation. And happy St. Patrick's Day. I can officially say that as someone who is Irish. Let's see if I can figure this out here. There we go. Okay, so Andrea mentioned Tourist Promotion Agency, or we have all kinds of acronyms. Just by a show of hands, everyone familiar with Explore York? Yeah, okay, good. So some of this stuff might be a little bit overkill. Uh-oh. We're gonna have that happen again. I think it's playing as a slideshow, so it might advance on its own. So I'll work on that. But so Explore York is a DBA for our legal name, which is York County Convention and Visitors Bureau. So we rebranded in 2019 to be Explore York. It was kind of a movement in the industry. And everybody was changing to sort of action-oriented statements, right? Visit here, explore there, have fun, etc. So what happened was we rebranded in 2019, and then everybody knows what happened in 2020. So we kind of lost a lot of momentum, right? We were getting ready to change from the factory tour capital of the world to our new tagline and slogan, which is Have It Made Here, because there are obviously hundreds, if not thousands, of things that are literally made here, but then there's all kinds of fun ways that you figuratively have things made here. So we kind of had to, I always say that my first year at Explore York, which was 2020, was unlike any first year I will ever have again. So then 2021 was my second year, because then it was like, oh, okay, now I can do all of the things for the organization and the bureau. So we kind of had to roll everything back, start over again, and continue on with that rebranding. So TPA, Tourist Promotion Agency, Tourism Promotion Agency, DMO, Destination Marketing Organization. But it's aside from all of the acronyms, we sell, market, and promote the entire county, all 911 square miles of it, from Dillsburg to Wrightsville and Shrewsbury and all parts in between. We promote the destination and the county to prospective visitors. People might think, visitors? You think of being a visitor and you think of going to Disney, or you think of going to the beach or New York City or Las Vegas, and all of those things, obviously, all of those places draw visitors. But so does York County, and we work really hard to put all that information together to bring visitors here. And it's, believe it or not, it's really a big
big business. So we are a nonprofit. We have an operating budget. We are funded primarily through the hotel occupancy tax. Very simply put, you stay in a hotel, it's $100, they put a tax on that. Some of the money from that tax comes to our organization. Also, within that funding, we have started in 2017, Diane? Grant program? 2017, we started a grant program where we took a smaller percentage of that occupancy tax and we put that into the grant program so that we can give those funds back to kind of continue through that cycle of, putting, as we call it, heads in beds. So the more people that stay here, more occupancy tax is generated. From that occupancy tax, we can fund a very, very robust grant program. A little bit more about that later. We do not receive state funding. We do receive some ancillary funding through membership. We're a member-based organization. And not that means full transparency, we've received, not recently, thankfully, but we've received some criticism in the past as far as, so it's pay to play, so you don't cover what's happening in the county unless we're a member. And certainly our members take priority. And so we work really hard to explain the benefits of our small but mighty organization and hope change, prospects into actual members. But we also, we look at all things and we make decisions based on, what it is that we're doing and what we need to share. But spread the word. We are a member-based organization, and membership can look like the obvious things like an attraction or a restaurant or a hotel, but then it can look less obvious. We do all kinds of things as far as supporting industries and companies with what we call brand adoption, signage, glassware, physical glassware, all kinds of things, sponsorships. So we really do look at membership greater than just those businesses that fall within the tourism industry. I mentioned the grant program. We do have a very vested and interested board of directors who really has oversight within their own businesses on the tourism industry. Ooh, this thing is touchy. So this next slide is really what, in a nutshell, what I was just saying. These are all of the things that we do. A very large part of what we consider an attraction is our outdoor spaces. So many parks, county parks, state parks. We are a very, very lucky county in that we have 4 state parks just within our county. There's many counties that don't have any state parks, let alone the 11 county parks that we have. And that is one large asset for us that we do like to promote. Some marketing tactics. I could go on and talk forever about this slide, but kind of all the regulars, right? We do a lot of digital advertising. It's hard for us to do print advertising. It's very expensive. From a leisure traveler standpoint, and a group traveler, I guess, the markets that we would try to infiltrate with print advertising would be really expensive and very difficult, and we would have to do that over and over and over again. So we do a lot of digital. Andrea specifically works very hard on pitching our destination to travel writers and journalists, content creators. We bring a fair amount of earned media into the area, and that's another benefit that maybe people don't necessarily see by way of joining the Bureau. We're doing all kinds of things to promote. We're not necessarily promoting Explore York. That's the action-oriented verb that we want people to take when they come here. We are promoting all of the things that the business owners and the event planners and the organizers have to offer. We're not planning our own event. We're not selling our own products. We're promoting all of the businesses and events and products that are happening throughout the county. Email marketing, trade shows. Between our sales team and I attend quite a few, but we go to a lot of trade shows where we're talking to event organizers and planners why they should come and bring their business to York County, and I mentioned travel grants. This is just some of the staff. We get to do a lot of fun things. This was last year, but we just went to the St. Patrick's Day Parade on Saturday. It was fun, it was chilly. I drove in the parade. We had a very large amount of balloons on top of the car, so it was a little windy, if you remember. I was a little nervous about our walkers that were passing things out. I was saying I kept compulsively counting. Okay, there's 8 people in front of me. Where are they? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One of which was my 16-year-old son. So I was just keeping my eyes on everyone because of the wind and the balloons. But we get to do a lot of fun things under the guise of learning about and promoting the county. So, bread and butter right here. We started several years ago an initiative under Explore York, and that is Sport York. Sports tourism is huge for us. Generates, in and of itself, generates 25 million in economic impact. It is our largest driver of visitation to York County. Adds an average of 2.5 people on to a day. So think about it if, I was just talking with someone about lacrosse at my table, we were talking about it, and you go to your son or your daughter or your grandson or your granddaughter's event, and it's mom and dad and sister and grandparents, or it's dad and brother and sister and aunt and uncle. All of these people are coming into York County and creating economic impact. So and not the obvious kind of staying in a hotel and eating, but they're stopping at CVS, they're getting gas, and quite honestly, a lot of them are outside of that 50-mile radius, so they're what we consider a visitor. So they're paying taxes. They're offsetting the taxes that are required for funding a lot of things. They're paying those taxes, leaving an economic imprint, and then going home. So that's key. That's very, very important to us. Sports is huge. And we do have, so when you think of sports, the easiest ones are very obvious. Oh, we should have a draft here, or we should have a Super Bowl. Probably none of you think that we should have that here, but that's what you think of, a huge PGA tournament. There's all kinds of things that fall under the umbrella of sports. So what we like to say is our Super Bowl, something that is very, very impactful that we can manage here in our destination, is the NCAA Division III Men's Baseball Championship. That's kind of an equivalent to a Super Bowl for York County. We're hosting that in 2027 and 2028. We will be working with our friends at York Revolution. We will be working with York College. It will be the Expo Center and all kinds of other people that I'm not mentioning right now, but it will be really all hands on deck to welcome these baseball teams and their families, back to the 2.5 people, into our area for 2 years. So that's exciting. And sports is, the obvious ones, baseball and softball and basketball, and but then there's kind of the not so obvious ones, or at least not so obvious to me until I started working at Explore York. But there's fencing, and there's gaming, and there's just all kinds of things that is happening by way of sports. So I mentioned our grant program started in 2017. These stats may be a little bit old, but you can see here nearly, I think it's over $8 million at this point. I think it's close to $8.5 million have been awarded from that grant program that I mentioned. 93-ish total grants awarded since the program inception in 2017. And we do 2 rounds every single year. And there's some stipulations that differentiate the 2 rounds. And I won't talk specifically about those, but we do have a very knowledgeable grant program manager on staff, and anyone has an idea for a grant, wants to make an introduction to someone for a grant, it needs to be focused on driving overnight stays and tourism. But Elizabeth can talk through all of those details with anyone. We're in between rounds right now. We open the next round January 1st. Right now, we are vetting all of the applications that came in. I'm not sure what time I started, so just make sure I don't, okay, because I could be here till like Tuesday. So we opened up the first round of the year, opens on January 1st. It closes February 15th. So in between that time, that's how long you have to put your application together, ask questions, pull. I have applied for our grant program before, and I will put an asterisk behind our, and I'll come back to that. But it is a very, as it should be, a very robust application program. And so, you know, you have to have a lot of checks and balances in place, and then what happens when the round closes, then it goes to our grant committee, which is comprised of some appointed seats on that committee, but we call it the Explore York Tourism Grant Program because it's managed through our organization, but it is not, I don't have a vote. Diane doesn't have a vote. Our president doesn't have a vote. Andrea doesn't have a vote. We are part of the organization that manages the program, but there is a committee who vets all of the applications and votes on those, and that's how the funds are awarded. So our program, not really our program, and the money is truly designed to fund tourism initiatives, events, research projects, all kinds of initiatives. Okay, before you press play, I'm not sure how the sound is going to go. You think I should take this over there and, okay. So I could go on and on and on, but it's way more exciting and impactful to watch a video of all the things that we do, but it'll be less impactful without sound. I'll come back and talk a little bit about the Travels with Darlene TV show that we show. That's viral under the TV screen. We went viral. So this next section is short, but this really will give you an overview of our sports sale. It's a pretty big stack. Thank you. So a couple things from that video that might need some further explanation. Darlene Newman is a PBS TV show host, and she has a travel series called Travels with Darlene. And so she was in York County in October of 25, and she featured our destination in one of her episodes. It was really fun. We went all over. It was a couple days. It was some long days. I was like, wow, this is what it really takes behind the scenes to produce something. But her cameraman, Greg, right before she came into York County, was awarded an Emmy. She's an Emmy award winning. The show itself has been nominated for an Emmy, hasn't gotten there yet, but she was fantastic. And so she was primarily interested in our American Revolutionary history. And she did some stuff with Gettysburg, Brandywine Valley, and Vicksburg, Mississippi through some grant dollars for the American Battlefield Trust. And so she was looking for kind of a destination in between to kind of round out there was a lot of battlefield information in the episode, but she came to York specifically, and she dined at Victor's, she dined at John Wright, she went to the History Center, she went all around downtown. We did a walking tour. She saw the murals. She went on Northern Central Railway. So we were all over the whole county. And she was just here last Tuesday at the Appel Theater, and we showed the episode as a screening. It's airing in markets now. It aired in Philadelphia on February 28th. Soon it will be available on our website. It's about 28 minutes long, but it's really a great piece. And she was fantastic to work with. She's done a lot of social media for us to really promote the episode and the organization. So something fun. We did a custom playlist, if you will, on Spotify that's available in our travel guide, and there's kind of some Easter eggs hidden in there and some Pennsylvania facts in the music, but we thought it would be fun to have visitors be able to download our soundtrack. And going back to the video, I did just want to call out, if you didn't see it, but visitors spend annually on all kinds of direct and indirect spending in York County annually. Every single year, visitors are spending $1.1 billion when they're hitting our county lines and spending and visiting and doing all of the things when they're here. That's huge impact. And we, as an organization, as an industry, tourism industry, we employ a little over 8,300 people annually to kind of make that all happen. So I felt like those were two key stats really worth mentioning. Commissioner Burford shared with me that the group likes to hear about data. And while I didn't specifically put data in this presentation, do I have a few minutes? Okay, I do have some data. We work with a visitor intelligence platform is what it's called, and we can look at all kinds of data. We don't, unlike this is very impactful for Downtown Inc. and Silas. I know he was here recently to talk about Placer AI. That counts foot traffic, which of course any business wants to know what their foot traffic looks like. Our system is really more to measure economic impact as a whole. Doesn't count people, doesn't follow anyone from point A to point B, but it tells us the impact of what visitors outside of a 50-mile radius are doing when they come to York County. And then we also work with another provider who really helps us distill all the data points down into a very easy to read, like 70-page document that we get every single month. So, but some of the data that we just shared from that, we saw a lot of momentum in January 26 as compared to the same time frame from 2025. So daily visitor spending was up about $3 per person. The share of all visitor spending increased from 4% to 5% in 2025. And specific local business visitor spending was also up to 26%, up 1% from 2025. Outdoor rec saw the largest and really meaningful increase. We went from 9% as a category, outdoor rec spending went from 9% in 2025 to 21% in 2026 in the same time frame. So I focus a lot. Of course, support our sales team who's doing all the things that we just showed you, but I also focus a lot on leisure marketing, and that's really growing our destinations and people coming as, staying in a hotel and just hanging out for the weekend and not here for a sports tournament. But we have seen tremendous growth in Philadelphia, Washington, D.C., and Hagerstown, Maryland's in the second spot, followed then by New York, Wilkes-Barre, Scranton, and Pittsburgh. So in Pittsburgh hasn't been an area that we've focused a lot on, but we have been hitting Philadelphia hard for the last 6 years. And so thankfully, the data is showing us that it is working. I could go on and on, but I feel like I'm probably out of time. So I think we want to take a little bit of questions. And I can share this specific data with the group if that's helpful.
You say you're funding the hundreds of that from the hotel tax and that sort of thing?
I would, close to 100%. But again, we are also a membership-based organization. So membership dues are a very small ancillary part of that. A for-profit business for 1 year, membership dues are $300. So, but yes, primarily funded through the occupancy tax. No. Mm-mm.
To attract influencers, get them to take up on that.
Yeah, absolutely. Good question. It's really sort of relationship based and one-to-one and focusing on, sharing who we are, talking with them. Now, a lot of traditional earned media has gone by the wayside. A lot of it is pay to play anymore. And that's okay. That's just what it is. But we go to a lot of shows. We do just a lot of one-to-one outreach. We have a platform that helps us curate lists of media and journalists based on what they're interested in. It sort of helped us, okay, what's the market? What's their beat, if you will? But we do meet a lot of them personally. Andrea goes to a lot of those events. And then it's just, sometimes it takes us a few years of inviting a writer or a content creator here until they bite, but paying helps and hosting the whole trip helps. So that's why we go to our partners a lot and ask for things in kind donation, so that if we want to send them on a boat ride or stay in a hotel, we ask for a little bit of help with that. Yeah. Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it.
All right, thank you so much for coming today. Don't run anywhere yet. And as a thank you, we are going to have you choose a children's book out of our stash, and that book will be donated to the Children's Library at either the YWCA or Children's Aid Society. So, all right.
One on one side, one on the other?
All right, so thank you so much. All right, in closing, I found a non-traditional Irish blessing. May the roof above us never fall in, and the friends gathered below it never fall out. Have a good week, everyone. We're adjourned.